Can you walk the audience through what the milestone of Mainnet means to you, the team, and the ecosystem overall that you've built?
Cool. That's an interesting question. I think obviously for the team, we've been building the technology and taking it to market for the past 3 years. So Somnia as a brand became a brand about a year and a half ago. The core research on the technology started about 3 years ago. So for us, this was the culmination of all of that work, with it being a live platform that now people can deploy applications to and crucially monetize. I think that's the big difference for me between Testnet and Mainnet. There are real stakes involved in a Mainnet. Whilst a testnet, you can get a lot of users, get a lot of like fake transactions and people, but it's not real until there's money on the line, in my view. And that's why personally I was very driven to get to mainnet as quickly as we could, because it's where I think the rubber hits the road for a project and it becomes a real thing rather than you can kind of do lots of smoke and mirrors before that. Some of the team were telling me we're not ready for a mainnet, we need more time. I was like, technically we are ready, and I would rather be out there in the market building with our ecosystem, building with our partners in an environment that has stakes, that gives us reality rather than this kind of testnet phase. You obviously have to soak in testnet to make sure it's ready and stable and secure, but we were at that phase. So for us, it's the culmination and basically allows now the ecosystem to financialize itself and become what I call real. So you actually see real traction from the different apps in the ecosystem, see people actually making real revenue, trading, all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's actually making the project real. There's also another thing. So we are, Somnia, just for context for people, is a high performance EVM compatible L1 blockchain. It had this purported performance of 1 million transactions per second, which everyone was like, well, can you really do that? And now we have a mainnet that showed that capability. And so, yes, we can do that now. And it's proven on a mainnet as well. So there's also a kind of point of proving ourselves of it being real technology, because I think a lot of people in the space were skeptical. So for us, it was a very big moment, very hard moment, but very big moment.
Do you look back at any of the journey from testnet into mainnet and can point to maybe one or two either breakthroughs or setbacks that really informed, the development of Somnia and getting to mainnet, and you look back at it now and you're like, those were really good things for us as an organization or as a technology?
God, there's many things. So I think let's start right at the beginning. So when we started Somnia, we had the very strong positioning around the metaverse. This is because of the lineage from Improbable, where I used to work. And essentially, Improbable, they have a bunch of the technologies and experiences that are built on top of Somnia. They were very focused around this theme of gaming, sports, music, so metaverse, basically. So we started going to market with that positioning. I quickly learned that that was incorrect. The metaverse as a concept in the Web3 space was not very hot and not very well received. I constantly go to VCs and potential ecosystem partners and be like, why are you doing metaverse? Metaverse is dead. And I was like, okay, metaverse as a concept can't really die. This concept of like digital experiences, consumers going between them, that's never going to die. But I quickly pivoted the positioning to focus on a broader set of concepts around fully on-chain experiences rather than metaverse, because I think that was a dangerous piece of positioning. So that's from a kind of go-to-market and positioning side. I think from a technology side, the biggest shakeup, and this is very unexpected. Web3 has this incredible ability to attract a lot of users very, very quickly. So I built a lot of apps in my time. And normally when you release a new application or platform, it's quite quiet in the beginning and then slowly builds up. And then you kind of get to an inflection point and it goes crazy. This literally went from zero to like crazy very, very quickly. I remember the first kind of DevNet open thing we did, where we did an open NFT mint. There was about 1.6 million people that showed up and tried to mint NFTs straight away. And I was like, what is going on? And it's because of crypto incentives are so powerful at the end of the day. And so that, I think, was a great learning for us in terms of these crypto incentives are incredibly powerful. You can track a lot of consumers very, very quickly. But you need to be ready for that. And you need to make sure things are more hardened and ready to scale up very, very quickly than necessarily if you're looking at a more traditional Web2 go-to-market. So we really battle hardened the technology very quickly. I think we made a decision to be very open very quickly as well. So during our DevNet, we actually allowed people to touch it, and consumers to touch it and use it and mint NFTs, trade, play games on top of it. People don't normally do that. Normally it's all private and all closed down, but we made it public early because again, I think the best products are built in the real world with the community at the end of the day. So yeah, I think for me that was the biggest technical challenge we had in terms of scaling up very, very quickly from like zero to a lot quickly. That I would tell most founders, be cognizant of that in Web3. If you put good incentive mechanisms and have a decent marketing funnel, you'll get a lot of users very quickly.